Penguin Audio presents Knit 2 by Kate Jacobs. Read by Carrington MacDuffie. Beginner. Seeing a pattern doesn't mean you know how to put it all together. Take baby steps. Don't focus on the folks whose skills are far beyond your own. When you're new to something, or you haven't tried it in a while, it can feel impossibly hard to get it right. Every misstep feels like a reason to quit. You envy everyone else who seems to know what they're doing. What keeps you going? The belief that one day you'll also be like that. Elegant, capable, confident, experienced. And you can be. All you need now is enthusiasm, a little bravery, and, always, a sense of humor. Chapter 1. It was after hours at Walker and Daughter Knitters, and Dakota stood in the center of the Manhattan yarn shop and wrestled with the cellophane tape. She had spent more than 20 minutes trying to surround a canvas peg-perigo double stroller in shimmery yellow wrapping paper, the cardboard roll repeatedly flopping out of the paper onto the floor of the shop, and the seeming miles of gift wrap crinkling and tearing with each move. What a disaster! The simpler thing would be to just tie a balloon on the thing, she thought, but Perry was quite insistent that all the items be wrapped and ribboned. Gifts, smothered in bunny paper or decorated with cartoonish jungle animals, were piled in a mound atop the sturdy wooden table that was the focal point of the knitting store. The wall of yarn had been tidied, so not one shelf, from the raspberry reds to the celery greens, was out of hue. Perry had also planned out a series of cringe-inducing guessing games. Guess how much the baby will weigh. Eat different baby food and try to determine the flavor. Estimate the size of the mother's stomach. That would have caused her mother to shake her head. Georgia Walker had never been a fan of silly games. "It'll be fun," said Perry, when Dakota protested. "We haven't had a Friday night baby since Lucie had Ginger 5 years ago. Besides, who doesn't like baby showers? All those tiny little footy pajamas and those cute towels with animal ears. I mean, it just gives you goosebumps. Don't you love it?" No," said Dakota, "and double no. My friends and I are a little busy with college." Her hands rested on the waist of her deep indigo jeans as she watched Perry pretend not to fuss over the job she'd done. The stroller looked like a giant yellow banana, a wrinkled, torn banana. She sighed. Dakota was a striking young woman, with her creamy mocha skin and her mother's height and long, curly, dark hair. But she retained an element of gangliness, gave the impression that she was not quite comfortable with the transformation of her figure. At 18, she was still growing into herself. "Thank God for that," replied Perry, discreetly trying to peel the tape off the yellow paper so she could redo the edges. Whether it was operating the store or designing the handbags in her side business, she approached everything with precision now. Working with Georgia had been the best training she could ever have received for running a business. 2 businesses, really. Her own handbag company, Perry Pocketbook, as well as Georgia's store. Still, Perry felt she had done a lot to keep things going since Georgia passed away, and now that she was pushing 30, she was beginning to feel a desire to move. In what direction, she wasn't sure, but there would be no more Walker and Daughter without her. Of that she was certain. Sometimes it wasn't very satisfying to work so hard for something that essentially belonged to someone else. It was hers, but not really hers at all. For one thing, Dakota seemed less and less interested in the store during the last year or so, grumbling on the Saturdays when she came in to work.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?